Well, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here today. Thanks to Coach Allen for reaching out, and it's just been a whirlwind. Can't wait to get my family out here, moving to Bloomington, and the staff's out on the road, as you know. Looking forward to getting in the room with those guys and building relationships that Coach talks about, and getting to work. The players have stopped up periodically throughout the day. I can tell the excitement, see the excitement in their eyes and in their voices, and can't wait to get to work. So just great to be here, and I know how close we are to taking the next step in this program, and I'm looking forward to making an impact on that.
Mike.
Mike Miller with the Bloomington Herald Times. Alan's talked a lot about relationships and how important that was to turning his defense around when he first got here. How do you do that on the offensive side? Is it relationships, and I guess to what extent to go to foster those relationships?
Yeah, you know, and in this profession, that's what it's all about, and that's why I coach. It's about the relationships that you can have with young men, and giving them the greatest experience they can have in their life, or one of the greatest experiences. Hopefully, there's more to come beyond football, but I think we share the same philosophy that way, and coming here and just getting that opportunity to do it, it's exciting. What was the first part of your question?
Oh, just how do you do it? How do you go about getting that buy-in and getting that?
Yeah, I mean, so to me, in order for me to ask everything out of them, I have to give the trust that they need to, and so the relationship that we have, I want to be able to walk in the room and be brutally honest with the guys, and then not have hard feelings about it. And that only comes with us working together, building the chemistry, having a common voice as a staff that the players believe in, and then that way, when they're on the field, they know that we're fighting the same battle together. It's not something where there's the coaching staff and me and there's the players. We're all in this together. We all want the same thing. We all want a great season. We want a great team. We want a great program. It goes well beyond the years of us all being here. And so, that's to me what it's all about in building a great culture, is the relationships that are a part of it.
Ben on the far right, then Ben.
Coach, Ben Portland from the Daily Student. When you took the visit out here initially at how long was your job, what struck you most about the program when you first got to Bloomington? What were your first impressions when you came there?
Well, we had talked quite extensively, and so there was a lot that I knew about, where the program was at. But getting on campus and just seeing the facilities, I was really honestly blown away with them. And it's exciting to see the investment that Coach talks about that's been made here, with the facilities, and the guys have a great environment. It's a winning feel. It's a feel of winning that we're surrounded by. And then just as I met the staff, a few of them I had known, but I just became more and more impressed. Just with the all-in mindset that they have, the excitement they have towards the future and how close we are, and so those are probably the two things that really stuck out in my mind.
Matt on your right.
Coach Matt Weaver from Indiana 247. Coach Allen has talked about he wants a guy to be the head coach of the offense. Obviously, you have that in your background, but how nice is that to know you have that freedom? You kind of have. You say so, and it's your side of the ball, and kind of the buck stops with you, and you get to kind of run it how you want to do it.
Yeah, that's again a huge honor for me, and it's something I don't take lightly, because the product on the field will be one thing, but how we do it will be another, and I want it done in a first-class way, where when we go through the season, and go through this journey together as a staff, as a team. There's gonna be moments, throughout where we're gonna look back on, and there'll be highs and lows that we're all in together on. But when it's all said and done, we look back and you feel good about how you put it together. I think as a head coach, I probably am not speaking for a coach, but I know what it's like when you see the final product and you win a championship and you look around, you see the smiling faces and you see the guys, excitement. You think back of how it all came together, because everyone's coming from a different place. There's journeys that guys are on. I'm in a different part of my life and journey than, the incoming freshmen and, certain members of the staff. But we all have our journey that we're on, and bringing it all together is something special. And, the leadership part of it is critical towards, those memories being something that, you remember for the rest of your life.
Sammy, straight ahead, then Zach.
Coach Sammy Jacobs with Hoosier Huddle. Welcome to IU, and how would you describe your offensive philosophy?
Yeah, well, it's going to be all revolved around what it takes to win, first of all. And, there's a fine line between excitement, right, and putting people in the stands and getting people excited about what we do offensively, and then, making sure we're not putting our team in a vulnerable position. But really what it comes down to offensively and as a team is creating more turnovers, and for us, taking care of the football, and then having more explosives than your opponent. And when you do that, you're going to win over 90% of the time. And, we want to make sure we're putting the points on the board, but we're also not, so reckless that we're putting our defense in a vulnerable position. And so it's a team game that we're going to be a part of. We want to be a physical. The game was meant to be played one way when it really comes down to it. That's physical. And so, a lot of people think that means running the football, but that's also what you do with the ball after you have it in your hands. Falling ahead for extra yards gives you better down and distances to work with, which makes it for better third down conversions and higher red zone, as we've been talking about here. But just create. In the end, it comes down to creating an attitude, and you don't install it with plays. A lot of plays are kind of cool, and guys like those, and they can feel it, and they know you're going to be big. But in the end, it's how you manipulate it and how you create the attitude that I think ends up with a product on the field that's exciting to watch.
Zach on the far left, then Stu.
Zach Osterman, Indianapolis Star. You've talked about it in kind of different ways, and I know it's early, but what are your maybe early impressions of the guys you've got to work with, and just sort of the tools that are going to be at your disposal? Again, I know it's early on in the process.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think just in general, I see a lot of young guys that have put some have put some time on the field already in game situations, and then there's some guys that are seniors. I know a few offensive linemen, a few skill guys, that want to make it happen now. And the urgency for them is high. And so that's something I think I've learned throughout the few moves is how to have that fine line to build a foundation that prepares you for success more success years 2, 3, and 4, in building your system. But at this time right now, we want to win right now. And I've had the guys that have come up, but a lot of them have been seniors because they understand the urgency of their career right now, and it coming to an end. And every day is one closer to their last days wearing an IU football helmet. So really looking forward to to giving those guys that experience.
Stu front left, then Matt.
Stu Jackson, Indiana Rivals. You mentioned creating an attitude. What do you want that attitude to look like for this program on the field, on the offensive side of the ball?
Yep. And I'm going to more, we want to be physical. We want to have explosive plays that should come off of, when you have a little bit of a run game, I felt like one of the strengths this last year was, there was a consistent run game for the most part. You should be able to have some play action to go along with it. And, play action always doesn't have to be shots down the field, but it should open that up. And, we've got some big receivers from what I've seen that can go up and get the football, and some guys that can get it down the field as well. So, that to me marries up pretty well. And then, just that aggressive, we want to have the ability to speed things up and play with some tempo. When you got them, or when it's the right time, or you need a little kickstart. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why you do that. And so the ability to have some tempo, and then I think if past tendencies kind of throughout the years for me, you see the intermediate pass game develop. As guys become more familiar with the system, understand the route combinations better, the reads that I'm asking them to make, and just everyone's on the same page. Less drops because guys are thinking less, and so we're going to try to keep it simple, but we also want to be complex from the defensive side of things and how they look at us.
Matt, front right, and then Matt.
Coach, for a two-part question. First, when did Coach Allen first reach out to you and start, kind of showing interest? And then secondly, obviously when you interview, you answer a lot of questions. What questions did you have for him about the job and what he was looking for from his OC?
Yeah, I think once Coach knew that Coach DeBoer was going to retire, or wasn't going to be around here, I think that's when kind of we started the process and talking, and certainly caught my attention. Having a chance to be in the Big Ten, especially with Coach Allen, and just knowing what type of coach he is. You want to surround yourself with great people, and so that was a big part of it. And why? What's the second part of your question?
What questions did you have when you came in about what he was looking for, and just kind of what what
Yep.
it would entail, and what kind of freedom you would have, and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think just how close he thought we were, and not that I've been shy from going into rebuilding programs. I mean, been at 2 places that were 1-11, before we got there. But I think that's the thing he really shared with me, is how close he really feels in his heart that we are here to taking that next big jump. Bowl games and being a team in the Big Ten that everyone's got to be worried about every single week. So I think that the defensive piece, he's been a strong part of that, and he's spoke a lot about that part of it, but also just like he said, trying to find that head coach on offense to come in and bring the staff together, and I feel that that's something that is a strength of mine. Is coming and bringing a staff together, bringing people together, personalities, and all of that. And I, on the side, this doesn't answer your question, but something that I'm looking forward to with this staff is the ability to learn myself. I consider myself a lifelong learner, and this is part of my journey. And I know there's some master coaches on this staff that know a lot of football, and there's a lot of different ways to do things in a great way. And bringing what I have and adding what they can bring to it, and their experiences. It just makes me better. It makes us better. I'm really looking forward to that, that time with them.
And far right.
Coach, you mentioned the sort of Tom's obviously talked about wanting to be the head coach on offense. How do you think that maybe your experience as a head coach at the NAIA level fits into that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It does. Because there's I think what really, when you're a head coach, you take a different perspective on things. It's all about winning and the experience that you're giving your guys, and so, that's the outlook I've had ever since then. And, the stats come along with the success, but it's not like I'm going out there to put up just these crazy stats. It's about winning football games and, getting guys to just, when they leave this program and they're alumni, they have just a ton of pride about what they accomplished and where the program is going. And I think that's just, I think it's more of just a general perspective you have once you've been a head coach that, and then it's about still bringing staff together. The staff when you're a head coach that you're bringing together is much greater than the staff you're bringing, but it's how we work together along with the defense. I think that is seen by the players, at least felt by the players. If there's a relationship between offense and defensive staff that's solid and great and positive, okay, I think you have that relationship amongst the players offensively and defensively on the team as well. They sense it. They know how it is, even if it's behind the scenes, good or bad. So I think that's a big part of us working together, and I think that's probably one of the things. When you talk about head coach of the offense, that's I think one of the things that's important.
Cam, row 2 on your right.
Cameron Drummond, Indiana Daily student. You talked about there being different journeys for both the players and other coaches on the staff. I guess for yourself, why is this the right job for you in this part of your journey, and what from your journey to this point has allowed you to be comfortable in taking a Power 5 job like this, relocating from one end of the country to the other?
Right. Well, as far as geography goes, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from South Dakota. Lived in Southern Illinois. Lived up in Michigan. This is kind of like right in between, those 2 stops. And so, coming out here, it's exciting. It's another place for my family to see. It's a place that I've heard nothing but great things about here in Bloomington, and so fired up about that. But the journey for me and why I'm coming here, I think that the Big Ten challenge. Just like a player wants to compete at the highest level, you want to get to that highest level and you know, show what you can do, prove it to yourself, prove it to others, whatever it might be. But you want those challenges. I think once you become complacent, you know, that's when things start going the wrong way. And so the challenge is exciting to me, you know, and then the other part of it is I just know I'm surrounded by great people. You know, I know that's the type of people Coach Allen's looking for on a staff, and knowing some of them, I know that that's the case, and looking forward to just, you know, when you're around good people and you enjoy going to work every day, that's a big deal, because we put too many hours into this job. If where it's the other way, it'd be miserable, and that's what I've been fortunate to do every stop along the way, is being around good people and enjoy my job. And then the production is a result of, you know, what you put into it, and I've been able to put a lot into it because I love it.
Stu front left and then back.
I think it was on a radio interview on Thursday that you mentioned part of the, I guess, inspiration that you draw on as far as taking some of these opportunities that you have across your career is that, you know, you bet on yourself essentially. I guess, where does that mindset come from, or you know, where did that develop, I guess?
Yeah, I'm probably just a small town guy, you know, that, you know, just small town guy that, you know, just why are you doing this and why are you going here? And I mean, the college I chose to go to was 2-8. You know, the year before I got there, or excuse me, the first year I was there, I think it was somewhere around there before that. But when we left, we were national champions, you know, and we were 6-4 my first year as a coordinator, you know, and built that program up to be, in 10 years later, you know, another, you know, 3 more national championships. So I just think that, you know, it's got to be in you, you know, that you're not going to back down, that you love to compete, that you're going to keep fighting. It's just got to be who you are. And you know, in the end, I'm happy with, if I know I've given everything I've got, I can live with the results. And so, you know, that's what the players are going to get from me. That's what the staff's going to get from me. They're going to get everything I have. And I've always just felt like you live with the results, and you believe that you have enough to get it done. You have what it takes. And so, you know, that's just kind of how I've lived throughout the entire life.
We'll wrap it up with Matt front right.
Coach, you mentioned obviously you've been at SIU and Eastern Michigan here in the Midwest, and then out west, excuse me, Fresno State. As far as your recruiting connections, I know it's about building relationships, but what are some of the areas where you kind of recruited heavily and where you kind of you feel like you have your strongest ties?
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, you know, Chicago was an area that I had for eight years up there, you know, into Illinois, and then obviously over to Michigan with our success and getting to know people there. You know, that'd probably be the strongest. You know, did a little bit down in Nashville, right at the end of my Southern Illinois, you know, time. So, but I think Chicago is the strongest area, Northern Illinois. So.
All right, thanks, Kalen.